I would like to discuss about electrostatics. Electro means charge, statics means at rest. If charge is at rest, what it affects, those we will learn in this chapter. Let us recall our basic knowledge regarding the atoms and electrons. And all matter is made up of atoms, and atoms contain electron, proton and neutrons. So these three are the fundamental particles. And objects normally contain equal number of electrons and protons. Number of electrons in an atom equal to number of protons. In that case, we can say the object is electrically neutral. When an object has imbalance, means there is an excess of the electrons or deficiency of the electrons, makes the electrically charged objects. Since protons cannot be moved, only electrons can move. So because of that object deficiency or excess presence of the electrons, the object becomes electrically charged object. And here, very important, neutrons, they do not possess any charge. They are electrically neutral. Let's recall earlier Bohr model. According to this model, protons and neutrons are inside the nucleus. Electrons are revolving around the nucleus. So, protons and electrons and neutrons are three fundamental particles in the atoms. Electrons having the fundamental property known as charge, which is having negatively charged, we will represent E minus, and it's having mass which is equal to 9 times 10 power minus 31 kg. Similarly, proton possessing charge of positive, we can represent P positive, and its mass equal to 1.6 times 10 power minus 27 kg. Neutron, electrically neutral, it do not have the property of charge, but it is having mass equal to mass of the proton. So electron and proton having the property known as charge. So here charge is a fundamental property of an element. Now, how a positively or negatively charged object creates? Let us see a situations. So in this first case, at here 6 positive charges are at here and 6 negative charges at here. So in this example 2 also, it's having 6 positive and 6 negative. So there is a no net charge. It means there is no extra electrons or there is no deficiency of the electrons. So they both possesses zero net charge in both the cases. Now consider a situation that in the situations, if it is contained 6 positive charge, 6 positive and 4 negative. Here the 4 electrons are revolving. So the net charge is plus 2. So this we can say positively charged object. But at here in this case we can say now it's having 6 positive and 8 negative. So the net charge is minus 2. So the same naming of the objects now with the charge property, we can say this is having one extra positive charge and this is having one extra negative charge. So if the extra positive charge, that we can represent as positively charged object. If there is a deficiency of the charge, it means one extra charge, that we can call negatively charged object. It means the deficiency of the electrons creates a positively charged object. The excess of the electrons creates a negatively charged object. So finally, if an object with the more electrons than the protons, then that object is negatively charged object. An object with more protons than electrons, then that object is positively charged object. If electrons are more than the protons, that object becomes negatively charged object. If protons are more than the electrons, then that becomes positively charged object. Now, another important concept of the electric charge, since both negatively charged and positively charged objects, they repel each other and they will exert force on each other. It means like charges repel each other and unlike charges attract each other. So this is due to because of the property of the charge. Because of the opposite charges, they will apply a force each other, they will attract each other. But like charges, they will apply force, so they will repel each other. Like energy and momentum, electric charge is also a conserved quantity. What is the meaning of conservation? Conservation means it remains the same. Charge cannot be created, charge cannot be destroyed. It can only transform from one object to another object. So electric charge is conserved, and due to because of the electric charge, they exert forces on each other. Like charges means both the positive or the negative, they will repel each other, and unlike charges, electron or the proton or as a negatively charged object or positively charged object, they attract each other. How much force they exert on each other, that we will discuss in the coming concepts. Now, how to be charged? How to create a positively charged object or how to create a negatively charged object? So there are the methods we can discuss. Very easiest one is charging by friction. For that we need a pair, a combination of the materials. Here the combination of the material, you can see a rubber rod along with fur. This is fur, or we can say cat skin. It's cat skin or fur. And another combination of material is glass along silk. Glass rod with silk. If you take these pair of the objects, initially they both are electrically neutral. They both, fur or rubber contains equal number of electrons and protons. Glass or silk contains equal number of protons and electrons. They are electrically neutral. But if you rub rubber rod with fur, the fur will loses electrons to rubber. Now rubber rod become negatively charged object. Now fur became positively charged object. Here the electrons transferred due to because of the process rubbing, because of the friction. And if you rub a glass rod with a silk cloth, the glass rod loses charges to silk cloth. Now glass rod became positively charged object. Now silk cloth became negatively charged object. Now if you bring this glass rod and silk cloth, they will attract each other because that is the fundamental property of the charge. So like charges repel each other, unlike charges attract each other. Now see the virtual demonstration. So she is rubbing two balloons to her skin. Due to the rubbing process, due to the friction, the balloons are acquired same charge. If we bring one balloon close to the another balloon, so the both balloons are repelling each other. As per the charge property, like charges repel each other. So they both are exerting a force. Here that concept is important. Because of force, they both are repel each other. Now to show unlike charges attract each other, now we need to take both oppositely charged. Let us make this balloon one type of charge. Now if we take a glass rod and rub with silk cloth, due to because of the friction, the glass rod becomes charged object. If you bring this charged object close to the balloon, now the balloon wants to attract the glass rod. Now this demonstration shows that like charges repel each other, but unlike charges attract each other. If you bring two similar charged objects, here the glass rod and the glass rod, which are the positively charged, they both repel each other since they both are same charged object. Similarly, plastic rod rubbed with the cloth, silk cloth, the plastic rod acquires negatively charged. So if you bring plastic rod close each other, they will repel each other because they both are having same type of charge. But if you bring a glass rod close to a plastic rod, since glass is a positive and plastic is a negative, so they both attract each other. So this is one of the process of rubbing with perfect combination. So it was observed that if two glass rods rubbed with wool or silk cloth are brought close each other, they will repel each other. Also, two plastic rods rubbed with cat fur, they will repel each other. On the other hand, the plastic rod attracts the glass rod and repels the silk or wool which is the glass rod is rubbed. So finally, similar charge attract each other, or like charge repels and unlike charges attract each other. Correction, like charge repels each other, unlike charges attract each other.